Have seen the crude oil prices rebound yet again. $49 per barrel is holding, and the markets have rebounded on the back of geopolitical tensions in Iraq. Saudi Arabia could be increasing its official prices to Asian consumers from January. And then on top of that, it is the vaccine optimism as well, which seems to be playing into the prices right now. Peter McGuire from Exim Australia now joins us on the show. Peter, hi, good to have you. What is your sense now coming in for the crude oil prices? Because the Moody's report says that $45 to $65 per barrel of a range is what could work for crude prices in the next year. Would you agree with that range? And what fundamentals are you looking at as we get into the new year?
Well, good afternoon, Manisha. Yes, I think on a whole you'd have to agree with it. A couple of things. First off, that US dollar. Do we see further push to the downside as far as an 89, 88 handle over the next matter of months? There's the first part. The euphoria globally, Manisha, has been quite extraordinary as far as the vaccine. And one of the major issues, of course, is rollout and how all of the logistics behind that. But let's assume that that gets some upside. I think that those numbers, as they're saying from Moody's, are very, very achievable.
It's just that the range is very, very large, Peter, because, you know, the US EIA says $48 off an average in the next year. Energy aspect has put it to 66. So various banks and brokerages globally seem to be talking anywhere between $44 to $66. The range itself is huge, but having said that, this year was no less, because we started this year with $71. We saw a low of $16. We're holding around 50 right now. So yes, it's all over the place. But next year, do you see a similar situation?
Well, first off, yes, they're broad ranges because no one really has a crystal ball. It's all the assumptions that go into the equation, Manisha, to say we will be in that range. There's the first part. The second part is, when you're looking at there is, again, from a demand destruction perspective, how long is Europe, how long is the US locked down, and the blowback there as far as Q4 and then Q1 growth. And that demand destruction could really be, we've yet to get to that point. So if it's as bad or it continues to be worse, these coronavirus numbers, then that's going to be quite a difficult Q2, Q3. So we will find out, Manisha. I think it'll be a very good time to be trading. That's one thing about it. There will be plenty of whipsawing of movement.
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. So when it comes to demand as well, Peter, how are you looking at Asia? Because we've seen China pick up quite early and smartly and has, sustainably done so. What is your sense for the Indian demand going forward, and where do you see pain in various consuming countries?
Well, I think first off, answering your question as far as China, yes, their demand has been insatiable from energy and, of course, for base metals. So there's the first side, and that will continue very much into 21. From an India perspective, it seems to be the numbers I'm seeing, the growth is certainly, reasonably strong, and you'd know better than anyone on the street as far as the COVID numbers, but let's assume that 21, we get COVID behind us. I'm sure that the natural progression as far as growth and consumption will be there, and very evident. It'll be strong in India and across very much the Asia basin. So I think that, when you control 70% or 65% of the globe's population with a couple of nations and a couple of areas, Asia-Pac and India, it's not surprising, Manisha.
How is your sense also on the geopolitics? Because Saudi Aramco oil facilities in the last couple of months, and then Iraq oil facilities, what we've seen in the last 24 hours, offering premium to these prices. The geopolitics, the COVID vaccine optimism, yes, the demand recovery coming back. How much of, or rather, what fundamental do you think will play the strongest?
I'm agreeing with as far as the Middle East seems to have settled down, but Iraq, there are always ongoing sagas with Iraq, and I really would have thought that we would have had some blowback earlier in the year with Soleimani, and then certainly in the last couple of weeks as far as the Iranian scientists, the nuclear scientists, but there doesn't seem to be anything on the radar there. So the next part, of course, is everyone's got a very close eye on contested elections in the United States. What happens in the next 12 hours or so, we'll get a reading from the Supreme Court regarding Texas and those 4 states and whether there's going to be any disruption to the mechanism as far as the Electoral College votes, Manisha. So they're the black swan events that really can change investors and, of course, themes of markets very, very quickly. So let's get through the next 12 to 18, 24 hours to get a clear understanding and an appreciation whether we've got any major hiccups in the short run.